Hey folks, again, so this video is for the sustainability business project, and this is my third video that is going over the first week's assignment. This video is focused on reading an article and answering some questions. So, I'm in Schoology. Again, I'm going to go courses. I'm going to go to environmental science. I'm going to go to the red file folder for sustainability project assignments. And it says here in the red folder, click on the second link below for the notes. Oh, we've already done that, so we don't need to do that. The first link should be for your directions, but you should actually already have your doc that says like your name and then the answers to the first 4 questions and then all the questions, right? So we're going to pull that doc out first here. Also, if you look up at the directions here, we have done step 1, step 2, step 3. You have listened hopefully to the first 2 videos on here, so this video and this video. And so we are currently on step 5, read the Salmon article that's found in the week 1 folder. So we're going to find that article right here, okay? And then we're going to open it up. Maybe. Possibly. There we go. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to start by... Actually, you know what I would like to do? I'm going to start by reading the questions. I know that for me, reading the questions first always helps a little bit. So we've already answered those first 4 questions up there, so we're going to keep scrolling. Alright, what is artificial selection? Okay, so we want to look out for that definition. Also, the definition can be copy and pasted. It doesn't have to be in your own words. Why could artificial selection be a good thing when it comes to food? Okay. What has replaced artificial selection since the 1990s? And what animal was genetically modified by the company Aqua Advantage? Aqua means water, so that's a hint. So these are the 4 questions we're looking for in our article. Alright, so I'm going back to my article here. The first thing I'm going to do here is read my title. Should genetically modified salmon be part of the human food chain? Well, if I'm a student, I probably don't know what this means, genetically modified salmon. So that's going to be the first thing I'm looking out for, probably in my article, like what does that even mean? Part of the human food chain just means should we be able to eat it. So the title is saying, should we be able to eat genetically modified salmon? Alright, I'm going to start to read. What is for dinner? The choices for our dinner continue to change due to modern technology and new information about health. One way, the undesirable genetics. I'm going to stop there. So this means the traits in the food that we don't want. So say there's a plant, right? And that plant has, let's say it's something that we eat a lot of, like bananas, right? Let's say that the bananas that we grow are too small, right? They're not growing. Maybe we could, let's just say they're not growing to their full potential and they're small little bananas. If we figure out the genes of the banana, and we can mess with those genes. We can either insert a gene or take out a gene. If we can figure out how to make those bananas really big, then we can sell probably more bananas because people are going to want to eat the bigger banana, right? Does that make sense? So that's kind of what we're talking about. We're saying we're going to get rid of all the undesirable genetics, the genes where that's making them puny, and then add a gene or take away a gene and make them big. That's one example. So one way the undesirable genetics of edible plants and animals can be changed over time is through the process of artificial selection. I need to stop here, and I'm actually just going to copy this entire definition. Control C, go over to my doc that, again, this should say like your name, and then it should actually say this. It should say Christy, week 1 assignment, but it should be your name, right? Okay, cool. So what is artificial selection? Control V for paste. Oh man, why did it... Hold on for a second here. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but it definitely took more than it should have. Okay, cool. So there's my definition. I'm going to read this. So artificial selection involves scientists selecting plants and animals that have the most desirable traits for producing our food, and then breeding them so that all of the animals born, or the plants for that matter, in the future generation will have those desirable traits. So I just talked about how we can genetically alter plants and animals, right? So we can take out a gene, we can add a gene, and we can change how the plants or animals look. This is something totally different. This involves just basic breeding of animals or plants, right? So say like a cow. Say there's something special about this one cow, and we know that it's going to produce good milk, right? And then there's this, so we have this male cow that has this certain trait, and this female cow that has this certain trait. We know that this trait means that they're going to produce good milk for the female. So we're going to breed the two cows with that trait, so then hopefully their offspring have that trait, and then their offspring have that trait, so then the trait will keep getting passed on, so we get better milk as the years progress. That's kind of like what we're talking about. It's not kind of like it. It is what we're talking about. That's what artificial selection is. So, okay. Oh, and then I give you an example here. Good. So, for example, if we want the chickens that have the most meat, we can... This is something I made up, by the way. I will say this. It's something that I made up. It's not real. But this is a perfectly, real life explanation of what I'm talking about. So, for example, if we want the chickens that have the most meat, we can breed the fattest male and the fattest female in order to produce the fattest offspring. And in this case, the offspring are baby chickens. Just the babies of the two, the male and the female. This is what scientists have done in the past to get food to grow or be born the way that we want it to look, right? In recent years, scientists have created something called genetically modified crops. Okay, so this is what I was talking about up here, where we go in and take out a gene or add a gene. So in recent years, scientists have created something called genetically modified crops, and now genetically modified animals have become an alternative to artificial selection. Let's go back to our doc. What could artificial... Oh, wait, let's actually go to question 3 for a second. What has replaced artificial selection since the 1990s? Genetically modified organisms. And we abbreviate this with GMO, right? Genetically modified organisms. So if you're a little confused, I'm just going to recap. Before the 1990s, we did this, artificial selection. All we did was breed the male and the female that was best at whatever trait we wanted our food to embody, right? You know what? I think a good, artificial selection cows. Just see. Let's just see what the real life. I don't want to actually do that. Let's see. Maybe. Probably go with example of artificial selection used by farmers. I just want to show you a real world example. So it says artificial selection has long been used in agriculture to produce animals and crops with desirable traits. Many fruits and vegetables have been improved or even created through artificial selection. So broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage were all created from selective breeding and artificial selection. That's really cool. I didn't know that. So the only way that we actually have these things is through the process that I'm talking about, where we go in and we determine how the crops breed and how they grow. So that's really interesting. We go in here. So we often select genes that will make the species grow faster, grow larger, have brighter colors for flowers, be resistant to not having a lot of water, and so forth. Right? So I think this is actually good. So again, you're picking something that's wrong with the plant or wrong with the animal, and then you're breeding so that thing doesn't happen. Right? So if the plant that you're growing is it dies in a drought, if we can figure out how to breed them going forward so that they're okay without a lot of water, that's what farmers have always done. So this kind of artificial selection or selective breeding, which is kind of cool. But in the 90s, scientists were like, "Oh man, we can do something that's even easier and kind of cooler." And we're gonna try this new approach. That new approach is called a GMO, a genetically modified organism. And if I go difference between artificial selection and GMO, not GMA, guys. GMO, genetically modified organism. Let's see. Let's try this one. Also, my video is going to end in about 15 seconds. So I'm going to pick back up on this page. You might be like, Christy, I don't care about any of this. But the thing is, if I can explain this in a way that makes sense to you guys, the next few questions and the little tiny paragraph that you're going to write for me is going to go so much quicker. Okay? So just hear me out and try to bear with me here where we get a good example together. All right, click on the next video. I'll see you soon. Peace.